do you believe in 2021 with the crazy amount of information available to everybody via even just your cell phone? Is there a reason that we still require a college degree for someone to go and become an officer? Like, do you believe there is a reason, or why, if we should keep that?
I always told my guys, like, and a lot of my guys, especially when I was with the Raiders, I mean, a lot of guys had their college degrees and everything. They're going out now, they all have masters, and some of them are doctorates. I just say that's like, listen, for me, a college degree doesn't mean I'm any better of a person than you. It's just a key that opens up some more doors. And even the Marine Corps, they do things that the Army, Navy, or Air Force do not require. Like, you have to have a minimum 1,000 on your SAT. The other branches don't care about that. So for me, here I am, total meathead in high school. Like, I take the SAT one time, and I passed the clearinghouse, and I'm like, I think I had like an 8 something. And I'm like, whatever, I don't care. Well, now here I am, like a junior at Villanova, and they're like, I got in as a naval officer. Then I'm like, well, I want to become a Marine officer. And they're like, you need to go get 1,000 on your SATs. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. So I'm like doing the Billy Madison thing where I went to Sylvan Learning Center, and I'm there with a bunch of 14-year-olds, and there's me. And, they're like, can you buy us cigarettes type of deal? Like, I'm just that old guy. And I had to learn how to take the SAT, and I basically sat down with the instructor. I'm like, I need to get 1,000. I'm like, just teach me what to do. And she was great. She's like, here, like a 30-block question. She goes, your first 10 are going to be green, 11 through 20 are going to be yellow, 21 through 30 are going to be red. She goes, where you are right now, answer 1 through 15 and put your pencil down. And, I'll just do that. And sometimes I was just sitting there for an hour not doing anything. And I walked out with like an 1,100 SAT just because I learned how to do it. But that was just something the Marine Corps wanted. So I'm kind of sitting there like, hey, there just might be different things they want you to kind of like, achieve to go over to, checking a box or something like that. Maybe it's time management. I don't know. But I'm still good with, going to college to be an officer. But I think there's a good argument, too. Look at World War II, where enlisted were getting battlefield commission, and they were doing just fine. So I could go, this is such like a political question, a PC way. I could go either way, to be honest with you. Because,
Yeah.
I've found some officers where I'm like, what the hell? And I've been around some enlisted guys where I'm like, dude, you should be leading people like on the officer. Like, you're making more sense to me than the operations officer is, type of thing. So, yeah, it could go either way. But what are your thoughts?
I mean, if anything, I think certain jobs maybe you should require. Like, if I want to be a pilot, then, I should probably have a STEM degree so I can at least understand, how these things work and stuff like that. But just for your everyday, like, I don't know, why does an infantryman, or infantry officer need to go and learn the classics? You know what I'm saying? And the crazy thing is, it doesn't matter what degree you get. You can get a degree in anything from anywhere. As long as it's a 4-year accredited degree.
Yeah, we'll check in the box. Like I said, that little key that opens that door.
If it was something like, hey, man, we need you to have a degree because, hey, tanks are kind of complex, and I'd like you to understand how the tank works, so I'd like you to have, like, a STEM degree. I could see that, I guess, but having it open to where I could go get a degree in political science or well, I guess that would maybe even be okay, I guess. But you know what I'm saying? Like, there's just so much bullshit out there.
It's a great question. I mean, I really have never thought about it, but I mean, you're like probably the first one to ask that, so it's thought provocative. I'm like, yeah. I'm like, well, I can see why not either. So I'm with you.
I like the idea of bringing up enlisted guys to the officer ranks and maybe requiring some college just to get clean up their grammar, spelling, punctuation, or give them kind of STEM classes. But I don't need to send a guy off to MESEP to go learn about some bullshit, some kind of like literature course or something like that. No offense to my literature people out there, but but you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. Yeah. It's just it's something I thought about a couple weeks ago, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to start asking like the officers that come on the show that question, because you guys are the ones that would really fully understand what it means to go through OCS and then TBS and then step in front of a group of people and lead them right off the bat.
Yeah, but we do need our English majors because they always volunteer to be the scribes. So God bless them. Like, it's like I always love when they would come out like, "Who's an English major?" And like 2 people would raise their hands like, "You're with me," and I'm like, "Ooh, bad move."
Man,
This is good.
Yeah.